Hello, welcome to another episode of WorkYogi Diaries. This is your host, Santosh Shiva. For a living, I work in the tech consulting industry as a sales professional. Please join me every week for a conversation with people who are on a journey of self-expression and joy through their work. So why this show? Because we spend a major part of our waking life working of some kind. The question I want to explore in the show is, can work be satisfying? Can it be fun? Can it bring joy? Leave your comments, share your thoughts, and please do remember to subscribe to this channel and hit like if you like the video. My guest today is a creative powerhouse. She is a story of finding self-expression through her values and through what she loves, photography and food. Through her Instagram handle, Yummy Yatra, which today has over 37,000 followers, she brings joy and happiness by sharing great vegan recipes and sharing her values for a healthy life. We get to talk about how it all started, what got her into a plant-based lifestyle, what's behind the growth of this amazing brand, challenges and joy of being a digital creator. How does she make brand choices? How does she balance her work and family commitments? And what's on the horizon next? Let's welcome Anusha Santosh. Hey Anusha, welcome to WorkYogi Diaries.
Hey Santosh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure because you are a well-known Instagram creator,
Thank you.
and I've
I
seen
enjoyed
your,
that part.
all folks who are popular, are very humble. They don't want to acknowledge that. But
I agree. I agree.
so I've seen your journey from the time Yummy Yatra started and how it's grown over the years, the quality of content and the amazing work you're doing, and it's a very inspiring story, right? And we are amidst digital transformation. This is the next big thing for people. It's a career alternative. So there's a lot that we want to learn about from how you're doing it. And so before that, I want to let you quickly introduce yourself, and then we'll jump in.
Sure. So my name is Anusha, and I currently live in Memphis, Tennessee. And I always say this: having lived in many countries, I consider myself a global citizen. I'm super passionate about animal welfare, the environment, and of course, healthy living. And I'm the creator behind Yummy Yatra, where I encourage people to lead a healthy lifestyle. By inspiring them to eat nutritious plant-based meals.
Fantastic. We are going to jump into Yummy Yatra, but before that, I want to
Mhm.
ask you a question about. You mentioned animal welfare and you mentioned plant-based
Right.
lifestyle. How did animal welfare become such a big core part of your identity?
Yes, definitely. So the biggest credit goes to Neo, my dog. But slightly before the time we actually got him, he came into our lives. I had seen this Facebook post, about this little girl asking for ice cream, and her mom is giving it to her, and she did not like the ice cream anymore, so she just took a lick and then threw it away. And the caption was very powerful, and it spoke to me in a way where it said that this actually belonged to the calf, the milk, where the ice cream comes from. And this little girl who's a human being just complete disregard for it and just threw it away. Now I don't know, somehow it spoke to me. Maybe it was because of the fact that a picture speaks 1,000 words. We all know the fact where milk comes from, but never did I think so deeply about it. So then I decided to ditch milk, especially in desserts and my morning coffee. And decided to do soy milk for my coffee, and then it worked for me totally. And then after a point, I just started disliking the taste and smell of milk. Um, and Yeah, and then fast forward 2014. This was like 2 years later. Neo came into our lives, and then he somehow we got so attached to him, and then he made me realized that I had been contributing to a system, which abused animals, and also to something that caused destruction to the planet. And I always say this, going vegan, for anybody, it's a win-win-win situation, because you are helping the planet, of course, saving the animals, and also doing yourself, your body, a favor, by not having animal products. There is, of course, scientific, empirical evidence out there. There's so many articles out there, and there's evidence out there that it does cause, you know, deadly diseases, and all of that. But somehow, we it's the culture that we are brought up in, that makes doesn't make us think about all of that. So after then Neo came in to our lives, somehow every animal that I used to see, I would see Neo's face there. So somehow that it's empathy. It was always there, but then I think it grew more. And then I guess I needed a more personal, fundamental reason, to do it. Always knew this, but needed a more personal reason, and he contributed to that reason totally. And I think now I feel happier, I feel healthier, and I feel more aligned to my values now. Of compassion and equality, I would say.
Were you someone who always loved animals? Like, are you always a animal lover from when you were growing up and stuff?
Not really, not really. I never had a pet growing up. But yeah, after Gaia came in to our lives again, Gaia was somebody who has, she's especially attracted to animals. She loves animals. So somehow being with her, I think, yeah, it kind of, yeah, that is one of the reasons. But yeah, growing up, I would love to see animals, like maybe in a farm, or maybe a zoo. But then, yeah, later on, it completely changed. And then, of course, one of the main
So,
reasons
mhm.
sticking to it, sorry, is health reasons. Because later on, when I delved more into it, because the ethical reason was there and it was intact. And of course, I knew that I was saving the planet by doing it in whatever way I'm doing, in whatever small way that I'm doing. But also, when I found out more about the health reasons behind it, it was a no-brainer for me. Like, I'm not going back ever, knowing that I don't want to put all of this in my body, whether it's milk in the form of ice cream, or even like coffee, or whatever it is. So yeah, that's how it completely changed for me.
Terrific. So, all of us read about animal welfare. All of us come across these articles. Obviously, it moves some folks the way it has moved you, obviously, to completely change your lifestyle out of empathy and compassion that you felt,
Right.
and you made this a lifestyle, and you've also taken it to another level where you're in a way using your own skills in photography and art, have developed a complete platform on Instagram, so that is completely taking it to another level. So let's talk about that, right? Yummy Yatra,
Mhm.
it's a beautiful Instagram handle, beautiful pictures you get to see there, great recipes. How did it all start?
Okay, so this is a very long story, because there are several layers to it. But I'll try and make it short. As a family, we love to learn about different cultures. We love travel. We love geography. It's a passion for the three of us. For me, my husband Santosh, and my daughter Gaia. Um, so, growing up, I'm from a family where everybody loves to cook. Especially my parents, that they laid that foundation for me, because food has always been very important. What we eat, how the food looks. So yeah, I would say both my parents and my grandmother, were definitely the most important people who kind of created this for me. So growing up, talks were always about food. So food was definitely the central focus, every day. And then, when I moved away from them, I always had this habit of taking pictures. That is, of course, after, cell phones and all of that. I would take pictures and I would share it with them every meal. Back then where I used to work, I used to come back home after work, and I would find it very hard to share, because my lunch used to be just a sandwich or something of that sort. So, my parents would say that, is that all you ate today? And then I would say, no, the dinner is going to be the mega feast of the day. So I would, dress it up and I would take pictures of it and then share it with them. So one day, my brother Chirag, he lives in Australia. So he was visiting, and he told me that, why are you just sharing these pictures to them like every day like this? Why don't you share it to the rest of the world, so that everybody gets to see this? Now, photography and food was always a passion. Food, of course, I already told you, but photography was something that I was always interested in. um, like when we've traveled to a lot of places as a family, and we would, even busy days, somehow I would take pictures of, we would go out on a hike, or take nature photography, do nature photography, or sometimes when we travel to other countries, I would take pictures and then brush up on my skills of photography, read up books. So I would always, even if I was busy, I would make time for it. It was always a passion, something that I really enjoyed. So when he suggested this, why don't you share it with the rest of the world? I thought, yeah, I mean, it's a good idea, but how do I do it? And then he said, why don't you do something on Instagram or some social media of that kind? So I decided that's a great idea, and I'd do that. So right around that time, I decided to start this project with my daughter Gaia, and since she loves geography, we thought, why not start learning about different countries, about the food, what they eat, so that I can so that I can put both my passions together. That is food and photography, and of course the love for learning, and to showcase how much we appreciate another culture. So we would do our research. We would look up a country and see what they eat there. What are the ingredients grown there? What is seasonal, different times of the year? What is a national dish? So we would do all our research, and we would try to veganize it, or we would make something that is already plant based, and and then we would cook that, and then those days I would share it on Facebook. But that was very limited to my friends, 400, 500 odd friends that I have. It was just limited to them. And I was, before the project started, I was talking to my husband Santosh, and I asked him, I want to name this something, what should I call it? And then he said, it's about food, so it's yummy, and it's about the travel, and of different countries. So how about you call it yatra, because it's the journey also. So that's how the name came about. um, and then I would just, at those days, just do hashtag yatra and share about different countries. So we would just pick one country, and Gaia and I would do the research, photograph, cook it, of course, and photograph it, and then share it. um, then once again, my brother came into the picture, and he said, you must share this on Instagram, because with the same handle, how about that? And then that sounded unique to me, and yeah, I mean, I just jumped on that idea, and I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And that is when I also thought that this is probably a perfect opportunity for me to model a compassionate lifestyle, not just to my limited audience, but also to the rest of the world in whatever way I can, because most people actually, I
So,
felt. Mhm.
so, so I have a question there. So, beautiful, beautiful story, right? Beautiful story. Um, we love to share pictures with family. It's a great way to bond with family, right? What better way to bond with family than through food? And that's such a wonderful, warm-hearted story there. And but your pictures are so beautiful. Now, how did you get to be? You seem to be someone who is naturally artistic. Did you always know you had an artistic bend? Because your pictures are just it's so beautiful. They're really so aesthetic. Even if you don't like the food, you can like the picture. It's so good. So, how did you learn to be such a good photographer? Is this something you learned by yourself, or did it just come to you naturally?
I would say a little bit of both. Um, um, I always loved. I think it's more like, the more you see, you correct yourself, and then you make yourself better. So I would see a lot of pictures. Always, to answer your question about being artistically driven, I was always like that. I always felt the need to do something creative. Always. Um, and luckily I always had that choice also in my life to be able to do thanks to all the support from my parents, and of course Santosh. Always they would encourage me, and so I had that. They would give me confidence, like, okay, do whatever you like, enjoy and do whatever you like. So I would read up books because I really enjoyed photography. But it was not how it looks now. I've come a long way. I gotta admit, it was nowhere close to how it was, and I think I have learned from my own mistakes, like we all do. So I would just see a picture, I would see something better than mine, and then I would think that, why doesn't this look good to me? And then I would learn how styling. So photography is not just, it's like a story, especially food photography. You're telling a story. So you want to show your audience or your viewer what goes into it. You're kind of creating a scene. It's not just a bowl of food. When
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dad is interested in it, so probably I got it from him. I don't know. You might know my dad is,
And
he's also
talking about your dad,
right.
yeah, you mentioned your inspiration coming from your parents, and your dad also has a nice Instagram handle, Yummy Yatra's dad, which is a perfect name.
Yes, yes,
And I can completely get what you're saying, because there's a lot of love for food and the visuals of the food also,
correct,
right? So
correct.
now, regarding branding, right? No, great, nice. Seems like a family project. Started off, and you put your artistic, skills behind it. Uh, but then you've now created it as a brand. Yummy Atra as a logo is such a nice logo. So tell us a little bit about how did the brand evolve?
So once I was on Instagram, I, it was just like literally post, cooking something, taking pictures, posting it. That's all was about it. Um, and then, once there was, I used a relevant hashtag, which is something, very popular among the vegan group. And then I got featured by, a very prominent vegan feature account on Instagram, that has like over 2 million followers. And then on that day, we were actually traveling. And then I just happened to open my Instagram, and I was getting a lot of followers that day. And then I realized that it is because another account actually featured me, because they wanted to share what I had cooked, and it was something that is delicious, that was veganized. I think it was some kind of mac and cheese, which everybody loves. It's comfort food, but I made it and showcased it in a way that even vegans can enjoy, and it got featured, and that's when I that really inspired me to keep doing this, and like I said, using that platform to model a compassionate lifestyle, right? So and that's when again my brother came in. Now, like I said, these my brother and Santosh both keep taking credit for everything, but that's reality. They definitely
I think
deserve.
I think you're I think you're a very generous person. You're a very generous person to give them that
I
much
hope,
credit. So
yeah,
it's
I
really
hope
nice of you.
they think of me the same way. But yeah, I mean, I'm just giving credit when it's due. So yeah, so then my brother, he said that, Chirag said that, you need to, probably change this into a brand because you're getting a lot of followers, and people like this stuff. And my personality is such that I don't like to reveal myself too much, and I'm very slow at that. And I was like, okay, I don't mind sharing this, but I don't want to share too much at once. So he said, no, just do what you're doing. Just do it there. Create like a brand and do it there. It's already Yatra. It seems to be, it's a nice name and it's got a good ring to it. And then just continue it this way. So then, we decided that we'd do a logo. So our good friend Shekhar Bagavde, he's a digital artist. So we told him that, can you create a logo for us for this, for Yatra. So we gave him the idea of the world on a plate. So we said something with a globe, which talks about, because most of the food that I make um, is globally inspired. So we said, how about a globe on a plate with the, something of that sort. And then he created one, and that's the current logo. It's on my website, and so that's kind of creating a brand around that, and that's how that came about. So that's how it
So for
started.
folks, who are listening to this and who are not familiar with Instagram, we've
Mhm.
used some technical terms here. Handles and
Sorry.
certain big brands. So for folks who are not into Instagram, it's a platform that is very popular for
Right.
posting visual
Visual.
data,
Right.
videos, and pictures,
Right.
and you can tag certain hashtags, which could be like, for example, you can say hashtag veganism, or you can say
Veganism.
hashtag, right?
Right.
And using those hashtags, other people who are using Instagram can find your content.
Content. Correct.
And what you were saying is that one of your hashtags or one of your handles that you tagged along was picked your picture, and suddenly it was spreading like wildfire. And that's what happens in the digital world,
Correct.
right? It's very
We were
non-linear.
joking about it. We were joking about it at home that day. And Gaia was like, "Mom, you're viral," and I was like, "What?" Because it was just that picture, and I was getting a lot of followers. Just that one picture that generated all of that. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah. Terrific, terrific. That makes sense, and it's so non-linear. It's like you're going in a slow passenger train for some time, and then all of a sudden there's this electric engine that's attached to the train, and then boom, you're going fast. And that's the nature of this whole world, and that's it's so nice, so fantastic that this happened to
Yeah,
you.
and that's when you feel like, okay, so you have some kind of influence on people. You have some kind of an impact, whether it is 100 people or 500 people or 10,000 people, who how many ever people that are following you for your content. That's when it really made sense to me, because my brother was always saying that it's big. When somebody's commenting on your picture, they're really taking time to comment and say that, hey, I find this recipe useful, or I really like what you've given, written there. So sometimes I don't even write the recipe, but I just give a little background information of my travel, what I ate at a place, and why I'm creating this, and how that dish seemed very important, or where it comes from, or things like that. So I also give them some information. And then that's when I realized that, okay, I am kind of having an impact, so why not use this as a platform to inspire people, to actually be the pull and not to push them into veganism, but also just pull them and show them that food can be tasty, whether it's, because most of the problem, I think the problem that people say when they cannot switch to veganism is mainly because they feel they're worried that it is some kind of a diet, or they don't realize that it is a lifestyle, and they feel that they have to sacrifice a lot, in terms of the flavor and the taste and all of that. But I wanted to show it as a way where it can be tasty. You need to know, how to use the right ingredients in a way where it works for you, and you won't really miss something that is coming from an animal. So then, when that one, post became so popular, I realized, okay, I'm having an impact. Why not? That's what motivated me to create more, find out more about how this little social media world works, how to use those relevant hashtags, and that's what motivated me.
And so now you're in this journey, this happened, and life's not the same, I'm assuming, for you anymore, because suddenly there's this platform that's having a lot of eyeball. Now you So how are you managing? How what tell us what's in a day of a digital creator like you? What does a day look like? It's not a 9 to 5 job for sure. So
It is more than a full-time
how,
job.
tell us about that.
Yes. So when I used to work like a regular job, I would, come back home tired. Just eating whatever is available. I would, of course, cook because, again, everything revolved around food. But one day, if that food was not to my liking, I would be so upset, because I can't do Lunchables and I can't do something like just a sandwich or something. It has to be meaningful food, that's not prepared like 3 days in advance. It has to be fresh on the table. And I grew up eating like that, and it's important. So I used to multitask a lot, and I would be so upset at the end of the day. But now even though it's a full time job, I mean, it's more than a full time job. I'm thoroughly enjoying it because I really enjoy the creating and the sharing part of it. So somehow it doesn't feel that tiring. It doesn't upset me. I'm doing it more as a passion. It's a passion. So I'm really enjoying and creating it. It's keeping me motivated because like I said, it's more than a full time job because it's not just that you just create something and then you post it. You have to do so much of planning in advance. There are a lot of projects. You work with clients, so you have those deadlines. Of course, you have to create a content for them. I also do like product photography, so you have to see where it fits in, and do something of that sort, and also engage with the audience. So they are not coming to just view your what you have created as a creator and then just take it from you and then leave. It's more meaningful than that, in the sense where um, you really engage with them when they talk to you and they have recreated your dish. For example, this is just giving an example. So many times they share a photo and they say, thank you so much for this. I made this for my family and it was amazing. We Everybody enjoyed it, and I can't just ignore that. I have to talk to them. I have to speak to them. There's so many messages every day. You thank them, so you have to engage with your audience. So there are times when I see myself. I'm with my phone all the time, and apart from just creating, coming up with ideas. So all these recipes are created by me. So of course I have to, come up with the idea, and many times I even have like projects where I have like a Greek week, for example, which I had recently. So then I come up with something to fill that whole week, because I've already promised to my audience that, this whole week I'm going to be sharing Greek inspired dishes, inspiration from my travels, things that I ate while I was in Greece. And I'm going to veganize them. I'm going to change them, adapt some of them, and then, make them in a way that works for vegans. So then of course I have to create those, things, get the stuff that is needed for it, update my blog, my website, that is. So there's a lot. And I'm on Pinterest also now. So you have to work there. So you have to be. It's like I said, it's just a full time job, but I'm enjoying whatever I'm doing. Again, with the support of everyone at home. Otherwise, I won't be able to do it. Then now I'm getting into video, and that's a whole another thing, because the video is the thing now. It's everybody's on that platform. People love watching videos, whether it's in the form of short videos, which is the thing nowadays, like TikTok and Reels, which is the TikTok version of Instagram, where there are 30-second to 60-second videos. Those are, I mean, they're short, but there's a lot of editing that goes into it. So sometimes I come up with the idea of creating something that would look probably good visually on a video, and then I want to do that, and then it's easier said than done, because again you have to piece them up. Editing, I'm sure you know what editing and what kind of work that goes behind it. So yeah, it's a lot of work, and because it is a community, there are fellow creators, and I feel blessed to be a part of that, where we all, my fellow creators, we are all like friends, very close friends. So again, engaging with them, talking to them. We have calls with each other, and like we. I mean, I have friends from all over the world. I feel thankful for this platform. I have friends in Iceland. I have friends in South Africa. I have friends in Seattle. I have friends all over the world. And then it's so and obviously you engage with them also. So yeah, it really keeps me busy.
Yeah.
Um, so
So
if
your
you
life completely alters, right?
right.
So your life fundamentally alters when you're a digital creator. From what you're saying, you have to constantly be thinking about the what's next. You got to be thinking about how is it going to be as good or better than the previous one. How is it going to engage? And I completely hear that. I mean, I know I've my little journey that I'm in. I myself I can see that I'm getting so obsessed with quality, and yours is of course a much bigger platform, and I can actually sense it.
Mhm.
It doesn't end,
Right.
creative life. So my question now there is, how do you how do you relax? How do you just shut down off? I mean, like for us, for 9 to 5, some of us who have a regular day job, we say, okay, this at 8 p.m. my calls are over, I'm going to go do something else. We shut ourselves off. How does someone like you in this kind of a profession uh, shut off?
So, taking a break is definitely important, whatever it is. Even if you enjoy doing what you're doing, if it becomes an everyday thing, then I think there has to be a balance, there has to be a boundary. So, sometimes I say that, I'm off for a week, or, I won't be posting anything for about like 3 or 4 days. And that has happened a couple of times. And I've seen my fellow creators also doing that because it is important for your mental health also. So I do that,
Yeah.
but I really like to share, and I've realized that even if I decide to not be on the platform where I'm actually creating the kind of content that my my community is expecting me to, even if I don't share, like say recipes or some travel related content, I do share what I do in a day. Like people like things like what you eat in a day.
Yeah.
So I don't mind sharing those
Mhm.
things, even if because it doesn't stress me out. There is no commitment, because otherwise there is a commitment of even the time that you post. After I switched my Instagram, so there are two ways to look at this. Instagram, you can have a personal account, you can also have a business account. So mine is a business where where I get the analytics, so I can see where my followers are, what they like to see, what percentage, the demographics, and all of that. And I found out that people love to you know to see where you are, what you eat in a day, where you travel, like even if you go for a walk or a run. So I share all those things too. And many times it becomes like a social responsibility, like say there's the BLM movement, or where you want to express yourself and show solidarity, and speak against some kind of racial injustice or anything. We Even if I don't post, I decide I'm not going to post because it is kind of a bad day for everybody, and I feel like it's a social responsibility to share the resources for the people, because I have an impact with my followers, whoever is there. And I can um, highlight what is the injustice, and how they can not be a part of it, or how they can help, if they can help people in any community nearby. When there was the floods in Texas. So we all as a community, we share resources, because that's a way to communicate with the audience in terms of stories. So in the background we share it in the stories, even if I take a break from my regular work kind of posting. I would still be there somewhere, lingering around in the background, trying to communicate with
Yeah.
my people, saying that, hey, I'm still there in the background. Or, if I'm going on vacation, of course, I won't be able to do my regular work, right? So I would share where I am, what I'm eating, where we
Yeah.
are, things like that. So those are the break days, I would say.
No, makes sense. Makes sense. Totally makes sense. No, that makes sense. And a lot of folks who are listening to this, especially a lot of people who are probably even beginning to think about doing something similar. That makes a lot of sense. And you also mentioned you do photography for brands, right?
Mhm.
And so like brand affiliations, affiliate marketing. This is a very another trend for digital creators, and I guess that's how digital creators pay bills for themselves, right? Um, so what about brands? How do you choose brands? How do you say which one not to do and which one to do? How do you go about that?
Yeah, that's a good question. And for me, I make sure that the values of the brand, of the company, it aligns with mine. So, along the way, I've become very passionate about the environment also. So, I make sure that if it's a company, of course, they all have to be vegan. That is one of the most important things. They have to agree with all of that. And also, I look up the brand, I look up the company. Once they approach me, if they want me to do some kind of work for them, like create a recipe or maybe to just do a product photography or of anything of that sort, some campaign that they would have, that they would contact me and say, we are launching this campaign. So I would see what it is about, what is the campaign for. Um, what time is, so there is this recently, for example, there was this company that reached out, and it said that it is for the Earth Day. So I was very excited because the company is good. I was very excited about the fact that it is for Earth Day. So again, I get to speak to my audience about Earth Day, the importance, and all of that. But then I found out that some of their products are not vegan in the company. So then I had to say that I cannot. Although I agree with a lot of things that they do, but there is this fundamental thing that I don't agree with, and I cannot move forward. So there are various reasons like that. So I do a lot of, I research, and then, like I said, the community, my fellow creators, they're all really helpful. We always look out for each other. So sometimes, there may be people who have way more followers than I do, or they've been in the industry for way longer than I have. So I ask them, what do you think about this company? And, do you think their values match ours or mine for that matter? And if they feel that way, they're like kind of like a guide. So these are the ways. So I make sure that first of all, it's vegan, and also that it has to align with all my values.
Yep, makes sense. Another question I have is for folks who are listening to this and want to possibly embark on a journey of digital career, right? Does this pay? Does you can you make a living out of this?
Um, yes and no, and it depends because there are various. Again, there are various layers to this. There are people who make a six-figure salary out of this because there are different ways to make money. And again, it depends on the kind of content that you're creating. So the fashion industry pays well, the food industry pays well, travel industry pays well. These are most popular ones, I would say. And it's not just Instagram, for example. It's people who create content, like, they start somewhere, like I started on Instagram. But then they realize that, to complement that, you need other things as well, because everybody's not going to be on Instagram, right? Like you said, there may be viewers who don't know what Instagram is or how it works or what is the definition of Instagram, for example. So then, and then that's how I learned. And I realized that I quickly needed to create another platform where I can share my stuff, because a lot of people were asking me, hey, how can I search for this recipe, because I really liked something that you shared a week ago, but I'm not able to find it on your Instagram. Now Instagram doesn't have a search feature. Like when you get to a person's account, you cannot search for a particular recipe. And then I realized, okay, so unless attach a different app to it and connect it and all of that, there is no Instagram way to do it. So then I realized, again, my brother, he said, you need a website. And then, he takes care of my website, most part of it. And then I created the website. And then, now, and then the next step, I realized that that's not enough. You need to be on Pinterest. So now I'm going there as well. So now all these platforms, there are people who are everywhere and they're thriving in all, on TikTok, they make videos, they have a Facebook page, they have a lot of followers there on their page. So they really make a lot of money because of the ads, just the ads alone. I know a bunch of creators who don't share much on Instagram, but they occasionally come just to say that, hey, I'm still here. But they make a lot of money just on their website. So, yeah, I mean, definitely, yes. But yeah, it's a lot of hard work. It's not easy. You have to dedicate a lot of time to really, carve out that niche, find out who is your audience. You really need to know that. You cannot do, you cannot please everyone, so you need to find your audience. You need to find who will really listen to you, and then give them what they really need. So yes and no. And if no, then yeah, it's a lot of hard work. It's not easy. And if somebody is passionate about it, then yes, I would say that they would really enjoy. It's not fast for sure.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. No, great advice. And I think it's like any other startup entrepreneurial journey,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Um, so
Because here you
well
need,
said
the
and great
people need
advice.
to, trust you. You need to be, you need to be authentic. So people need to know who you are. They need to trust you. You cannot just be somebody just giving advice. It's not like that. I mean, people can just go anywhere and get that. But if you need that dedicated audience to be, to feel that, hey, I want to know, what she has to say about this brand, or I want to know what she thinks about this. So, and then that's how the followers increase, and that's how brands start to recognize you, and they feel like, okay, she has a say or he has a say in this, and I want to go, you know work with him or her. So I've seen people who've been in the industry for a while, and they are still, they're still not able to, really come out, in the sense they're really. I can see that they have a lot of talent, and I can see that they share a lot of valuable stuff, and I really admire the work they do, but they still don't have that audience pull. I mean, somehow, I don't know, like, there's so many layers. You need to use the hashtags, you need to be able to approach the brand, or when the brand approaches you, you need to know how to talk to them and negotiate, and, so many things. So it's something that you learn trial and error. But yeah, definitely
Yep,
possible.
yep. Makes sense. No, that's beautiful. That's great. Hey, that's a fantastic journey, and I loved, great conversation. Loved, learned a lot in the process, and it's the next. What you're doing is really cutting edge. It's almost the future. Maybe this is what people are going to be doing more often to, for their careers, which is good because you get to express yourself. You get to be happier. It's not a rut. It's not a routine 9 to 5 factory
Right.
job. So
No,
it's really nice. It's
that's I've always felt that's what work means to me, because every day should feel like you being rewarded. So this is definitely rewarding, and it feels, you, like you said, it's not mundane. It's not what you do every day. You get to meet people. You get to choose who you work with. It's not forced. um, there are days where, and saying this again, there are times when there's something bad happening out there. If it's a regular work, and I always feel strongly about this, when if it's a regular 9 to 5 job, no matter what happens in the world, if you're affected by it, you have to just, get up from your bed and then go to work just like any other day, and come back, and then, but it's not like that here. I feel the community is such that, they're all with you. You feel bad about something, and if something that you feel very strongly about, you will find that kind of, the crowd that is going to listen to you or be with you. So it's definitely a lot more satisfying. And of course, I get to do what I really like to do, the creative part of it. And it's that has really helped me, where, my fresh ideas are encouraged, by the audience. So that's what more can I ask for? Yeah.
totally, totally. Terrific. Hey, that was great. I want to move to the last part of our conversation,
Okay.
which is a rapid fire round. I have a bunch of questions, and
Yeah,
it's
go
all
on.
related to food and veganism. Uh, so You ready for that?
Yeah, I'm nervous, but I'm ready.
All right. It's all going to be in your domain, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay. So the first question I have is, it's in the area. It's related to veganism, but it's in the popular culture. Okay.
Okay.
So, which Oscar-winning actor, okay, referenced cruelty in the dairy industry in their Best Actor acceptance speech?
Joaquin Phoenix.
That was easy. I should
I
have
think
picked up
anybody would
something
know that.
else.
I hope this is
Do you
not
know which movie?
quiz.
Which movie? Which year?
Joker. Last year.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. What's the toughest recipe in Yummy Yatra? The toughest to make, I guess.
What is your definition of toughest?
Toughest is,
No, why I'm
if
asking
I
is now this I would have, if I were you, I would have said toughest too a few years ago, but now I know it means different for different people, because sometimes somebody says this recipe is tough because I don't get these ingredients easily, so I need to go somewhere, it's not easily available, you know so that could mean toughest, although most of my recipes are very accessible. I try to create more and share more things that are easily accessible. So are you talking about the length of the recipe, that or the procedure, or what?
procedure and like complexity. So I'll tell you why I'm asking this question. So I'm someone who learned cooking in the last 10 years. Okay, uh,
Right.
recent student of cooking, and my cooking has been evolving, and I
I
learn
know that.
everything, something new all the time. And when I started cooking, even Indian food, I used to be very overwhelmed, by just looking at all the ingredients and what order does it go and to get the right flavor.
Mhm.
So I would say in that context, which recipe would be something that's a little difficult for someone who's just learning to cook to take on.
Hmm. Um, okay, so now this is a very it depends on who is approaching the recipe, because for somebody,
This
most
is
of
not
my
a rapid fire. You have to give me one answer.
okay. So I
Pick
think
one.
it's this okay. I think it's this eggplant curry made with coconut milk. I think it involves more steps than my regular recipe, because most of them I make it very short. This one I think has a couple of steps. And I remember somebody saying, off the top of my head, I can remember somebody saying, "Oh, that looks like there's a lot of steps involved." So yeah, it maybe that.
Okay.
And I'm saying this only because this is rapid fire, but otherwise there would be several
Yes,
answers to this
that's
question.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. You said you travel a lot. Um, your rating of the city that you felt was the most animal friendly.
Hmm, that's a tough one. Okay, I would say Athens.
Most animal friendly.
Yeah, Athens was the most animal friendly, because it was pretty recent, and I remember it being. It was, yeah. I was already a vegan. We easily found a lot of vegan options, including desserts and a lot of other things. It was pretty easy. Yeah.
Okay, so fair enough. Good. And I want again travel and food question.
Mhm.
Tell me your top three food cities, favorite food cities.
Oh wow. Okay. This three is it's not fair, but anyway, I would
Top three.
say, yeah, I would say Mumbai is definitely there. It's on the top, um, and then I would say maybe Rome. So Mumbai, India, Rome, Italy, and I would say again Athens, Greece.
Okay. Okay. All right. So people who want to travel when the pandemic is over, go check it out. The series. Go eat some good food.
Go eat some good food. Yeah.
Nice one. Nice. What's your favorite cuisine? And if you want to name two, that's fine too.
Favorite would be Mediterranean. That's my most like comfort food. Everybody in the family, they love it. So even for experimenting, I would usually experiment with Mediterranean food, ingredients. I love all the Mediterranean countries. Love traveling there. So yeah, that would be my first pick. And because you gave me a opportunity to see another one, then I would say it is Indian.
Of course, obviously. All right. Hey, that was a nice, good rapid round. Although you took some time to
I know.
qualify your toughest food, it's
No,
fine.
it's yeah. We make lists. We are a family that love making lists. So this is a constant discussion for us, and we always argue that no, what is your number one? How can that be a one? And and then sometimes we say no, that's not a fair question because there can be one answer. So which is why I said because I remember recently I had shared recipe for uttapam. And while for most Indians, it would be an easy thing because actively you don't really need to do much. Everything is just grinding and then fermenting, and that's it. But for somebody that is a non Indian or a non Southeast Asian, it's very hard. And they said that this involves a lot of steps, a lot of waiting time. What if I want to eat? Man, that food looks good. What if I want to eat it right now? It's one of those things. So for them, so how they look at it is that this is not an easy recipe, it's a tough one. So it depends on your culture, it depends on how familiar you are with the ingredients. So that's why I was like, how do I answer this?
Agreed. Yeah. Fair enough. You did well. You did well. Great. So we're kind of coming to the last, wrapping up. Any final wrap up comments before we close out?
Um, I have some goals with respect to Yummy Yatra, and I hope I can achieve that in the coming year. So I want to further build my own brand. So far, I've been able to work with other brands and make work creating this ebook, several apps where my recipes are featured, contributed to Meatless Mondays and things like that. But I would like to create my own cookbook someday, which is again globally inspired. A little bit about my childhood food favorites and also travel related. So that way, I want to bring all of that together in one good book. That's one. I want to create more videos because they impart more instructions and stuff. So I would love to do that. Most of my followers are from the UK, Australia, US, of course, and Germany, and they all love Indian food. Especially, my followers in Germany, they love Indian food, and they keep asking me to share more of that. So I want to work more on that. Maybe create more regional Indian recipes, something that's more than a naan or chana masala. Give them variety and showcase Indian food more. Create more lifestyle and travel related content. And also, I'm exploring options on how to help, the local community, help feed the local community. Because good food, it plays such an important role. But sadly, good food is not available to everyone. So that is something that I'm exploring and I'm working on. So with this platform, I'm trying to see if I can do something of that sort. So that's some of my goals, and
Awesome.
I would like to say that you have one life to live. So go do that thing that truly makes you happy. I think that is my mantra.
Yeah. Awesome. Terrific. Thanks, Anusha. This was thanks for taking the time out, talking to us in this show. I'm sure people are going to love this conversation and take back something back in their lives. Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful weekend, and we shall stay in touch.
You too. I really enjoyed it, including the rapid fire. It was fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.